I'm here today at the Scale Up Summit with my friend Paul Avins, who very kindly invited me to speak. The sun is shining, there's some amazing people in there. I can see one at the back right now. I am so excited to go and speak in front of all these people and talk about LinkedIn and content strategy and personal brand. I'm going to take you guys, surprisingly, behind the scenes with me. Let's go.
Cool. Please give a massive scale up. Welcome, please, to Chris James, ladies and gentlemen.
A lot of people talk about strategy, and I don't actually think they know what it means a lot of the time, especially when it comes to content. You'll have all these like LinkedIn trainers are going on about, oh, if you use the hashtag strategy, like, that is not a strategy, okay? Strategy essentially just means plan. I'm sure everyone knows this. Here's mine in a nutshell, and it's broken down into quite a few things, and I think hopefully you'll get quite a few bits of information from it. So we're all familiar with a marketing funnel, I'm assuming, but most people are just posting content when it comes to any social platform, really, not just LinkedIn. Posting content willy-nilly, spraying and praying, hitting and hoping, that kind of thing, right? So what we want to do is actually start with the objective. What's the aim of this piece of content or this month worth of content, and what are we trying to do? And I've distilled it into three, very simple. We're either trying to capture attention with our content, new followers, new eyeballs. We're then trying to build trust with existing eyeballs or existing audience, very different type of content, and then we're trying to convert some of those followers or some of those eyeballs into a lead or a sale. Making sense so far? Yeah? But most people will just put something out and they won't think about it, and they won't break the post down or the strategy or the approach down in the right way. So very simple. Are we trying to get new followers? Are we trying to get new eyeballs? Are we actually just trying to warm people up or keep them warm or nurture them in the middle? Or are we going in for the kill in a subtle or maybe a direct way as well? What I like to do next is reverse engineer the whole process. Okay, so call to action, most people would write at the end. You should be like acutely aware of what your call to actions are for your business and what you want people to do after they've consumed your content. So this is just an example of mine. 40% of the content I put out, I'm trying to get people to download something so they've come into my ecosystem if they're not already, or I'm trying to get them to DM me so I can give them the download link. Be different for everyone, but that starts a conversation and hopefully prompts a download, which then puts them into an email sequence, okay? The next thing, only 1 in 5 posts am I actually trying to sell, and I sell using a sales call. So I'm either trying to get people to book a call or send a DM. Remember that 1 in 5, so that's probably just once a week, and I post daily. After that, it's just trying to get people to engage. So in the middle spotlight, I'm just asking a question or asking for a share or something, trying to create that shareable content or content that starts conversation. And then 15% is pretty much just reactive. Yeah, I like to plan my content very, very far in advance. I'll say that. I think I'm planning for the quarter, put it that way. But you need that reactive space if you're a weirdo like me. So then we can start to look at, right, we know exactly what we want the content to do. We know what we want people to do off the back of it. What are we going to talk about? Well, you probably heard the phrase content pillars or content buckets, they're called sometimes. And a lot of people are like, oh, it doesn't make sense. Very simple. All content pillars is a set of guidelines for you to stay within, so you're not going over here and talking about stuff that's just not relevant to you or your audience, okay? And I just recommend 3 main topics. You, so some of the stuff that we've spoken about, the mindset that you have and your approach to certain situations and the journey, and also your business as well. So we've got 3, and they're universal, anyone can have those. Anyone can use them. It's absolutely fine, as long as you're in business and you've got a mindset. So when we look at each of those things, now we've sort of shaped our thinking. Okay, what am I going to write about me? Well, I've told you what some of my differentiation points are and the things that I want to be associated with from the external point of view, right? Family, fitness, hobbies, my opinions, some of those things on that differentiation slide as well. And it's content like that where I'm talking about me. It's not all self-centric, but I'm leaning into that for now. Where I'm talking about me that creates something emotional. It sparks a bit of emotion in whoever is consuming the content, right? Then we look at some more logical stuff. It's like, okay, I know and like this person. Maybe there's a bit of trust there, but it needs to make sense from a logical point of view for me to book a call or buy something or download something or whatever it is. So I talk about sales, I talk about business, talk about marketing, talk about productivity, all massive, but these just, again, keep me within a set of guide rails that I don't go out of when I'm writing or creating or ideating content. Last thing is mindset. Taking action, positivity, personal standards, consistency, as Paul mentioned, and false beliefs, okay? Now these mean just taking an hour or half an hour to write down these things mean that any time I'm like, oh, what can I write about? I'm going to just whip out this list and go, well, I did one about that yesterday. I can do this today. I'm never usually that reactive, but you get the idea, okay? It's all in the prep. It's all in the setup. Because every single one of those 15 things on there is something I want to become known for in some way. And I want every audience member to associate these positive pairings with me, okay? And if it doesn't resonate with them for whatever reason, they're not target audience. Now we know what we're kind of going to talk about. You know, if you just look at sales, it's still a massive topic, right? Like, that's intentional, but it just allows us to stay in that lane. Distribution-wise is the next thing I would look at. Distribution and frequency, essentially. So I'm across like 4 main channels, but I would also, if you hear this talk or you speak to people at this event, you're like, you know what, LinkedIn's an absolute gold mine, I am going to give it a go. I would decide very early on how frequently you are going to post on it. And this doesn't just apply to LinkedIn, but what a lot of people will do is go, right, kind of, again, what Paul said with the January fitness journey, right? Right, I'm going to go to the gym 17 times a day. I'm going to go and get a new gym bag, things like that, and then by March they don't. And I see a lot of people do that on LinkedIn because they'll commit to like twice daily, 3 times daily posting, when actually you can do it in a much more sustainable way. So if you have not got the time to post every single day, don't tie yourself to it. Start small. So I recommend like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you can, get it up to 5, get it up to 7. And then also look at other channels where the content that you're posting might be able to go. And we'll come on to that in a sec. But to give you guys an idea of ours, LinkedIn is daily, Instagram is daily, but it's definitely a secondary channel. Then YouTube 3 times a week. But the YouTube videos go onto LinkedIn as native videos as well. And then email pushes people twice a week to YouTube or a resource. So it's all very centralized, and we're sort of repurposing and reusing content where applicable, which we'll come to. So we kind of know what we're going to talk about now. We know when we're posting. We know what platforms we're going to go on. We're making sure that our audience are there as well, is a point that I missed. But how do we ideate? Well, a lot of this, especially if you're new to content creation, is going to come down to research and inspiration. So I would go and look or listen to books and podcasts and things like that other people in your areas. Go and check out other people's content if you really need some inspiration. You'll quickly fall down a rabbit hole, which is fantastic. It's what you want. But you're going to start to, when you start putting, I don't know, half an hour plus into this, you'll start to come up with some ideas or go, oh, that's resonating or that's landing. That's definitely worth me spending a bit of time on. I recommend setting up a WhatsApp group with someone and then kicking them out of it. Okay, and then pinning that chat at the top of your WhatsApp. And that is just a place where you can dump ideas. This is what I do for LinkedIn, but I do it for other things as well, right? Invite someone to a chat, probably someone you know, so you can tell them what you're doing, not just putting them in a group and kicking them out. But get rid of them and then pin it at the top. And anytime inspiration strikes, or you have an idea, or you want to write something down, I'm assuming for most people, WhatsApp will be one of your most frequently accessed apps on your phone. If not, just use that or put notes there or something. But WhatsApp's great, and just dump it into there. And I mean, like, if you want to take content creation seriously, this is really, really crucial. If you don't write ideas down as soon as you have them, they're going to vanish. And I mean that, literally vanish. I have things that people say in conversations to me, and I stop them mid-conversation, I will write it into WhatsApp because I know it'll be a golden piece of content. Stop right there. Planning content is a pain in the ass, but luckily for you, I've got a free resource. You can get access to my high-performance LinkedIn planner for free right now underneath this video. It's a very simple tool with a video walkthrough that shows you exactly what you need to do in order to systemize your content strategy. So don't wait, grab it now, because I'm going to take it offline very, very soon. So we've got, like, let's say we carry on for a month. We then want to brainstorm this, and we want to start to write. And the writing all starts with the headline, which is really, really important. So going through this content creation process. ABC, the simplest way to create a post, okay? A, we want someone's attention. That is through a powerful hook or a powerful headline. B is the body or the breakdown, so what we're actually trying to say. And C, because we've already engineered what these are based on our objectives, is our CTA, okay? How are we going to get this person to do what we want them to do? We've gone through objective, We know what the objectives are. We've called out the call to actions. We've got some ideas for topics, and they're stored in WhatsApp, or maybe we've gone in a bit more detail. Then we need to start to consider this headline in the copy, okay? And this is exactly the same regardless of the format. So some people will be very comfortable on video, other people might design, other people might just want to write. The simplest thing you can do on LinkedIn is get a nice picture of yourself smiling, doesn't have to be professionally taken, and just write. Everyone in here can write, I'm assuming. So that is a very simple process, all right? How are we going to get someone's attention? I like to use a lot of negativity and intrigue to then have a positive post, like 3 reasons why you're messing up your XYZ, and here's how you can fix them, that kind of thing, but then give a positive post underneath, and then go, I'm going to show you how to do it all in my XYZ freebie, or whatever. Repurposing strategy, okay? So I mentioned before that I will take a video from YouTube and put it directly on LinkedIn, but you can be really, really clever with whatever you do, and what I'm going to describe goes both ways, all right? So what I like to do is create one long-form video, which might be 10 minutes long, there or thereabouts, and give it to my editor, who will then chop it up into between 8 and 12 short-form videos, okay? Now, what that allows us to then do is have, let's call it 10 YouTube shorts plus 1 video. The best performing YouTube shorts we can also post on LinkedIn. We can also post them on TikTok and Instagram and things like that too. And then the little scripts or the words that are used in there can be rejigged and turned into written posts on LinkedIn as well. So if we look at that, we've got 1 piece of content, then another 9 pieces of content, which is 10, another 9, 19. We could also design carousels, tweet them out, all these different things, okay? Now, let's say that going on video isn't something that you want to do, or you're not comfortable with it just yet. That's absolutely fine. A lot of people aren't. Well, you can start with the writing. So you could write one long-form blog article or an email to your list. And especially if it's written in a list kind of way as well, you can repurpose those into short tweets or LinkedIn posts as well, right? So one big piece of content can serve you massively and save you hours. What Hormozy does is very interesting. So he's got the luxury of having a massive audience, obviously, but he will almost brain dump live onto Twitter throughout the day with short form, very just 2-sentence topics almost, with a slight controversial opinion, and he'll see which one pops off. He'll see which one resonates the most, and that's when he'll go the opposite way and do the long form video once he knows the topic or the title has got traction, okay? And he knows that that's a proven concept. But you don't have to spend hours like I used to do. Honestly, I'd spend 3 hours on one post creating a carousel when I first started on Instagram, and guess what? That's not sustainable. You can think about this from a much more strategic point of view. So what boxes does this piece of content tick, and how can I make one long or one short piece of content from it, and then go the opposite way. So make the short long, make the long short. Also, what a lot of people don't do is straight up reposting. So I called it the greatest hits theory. Everyone will have, once they've been doing this for a little while, a piece of content that performed really, really well versus the others. If you want to wait 90 days, just repost the exact same thing. I looked through my LinkedIn analytics yesterday in front of a load of people on a group call, which I run, and 2 posts, almost the exact same number of likes and almost the exact same number of engagements. Same picture, same headline, same copy, 10 months apart. So once you've found things that are proven, it's a good idea to just use them again. Really, really powerful. And you can switch up the hook or you can switch up the picture or whatever, but don't be afraid of just waiting for any more than 90 days. In theory, you could run a whole content system on one platform based on 90 pieces of content, or less, 90 days worth of content. And just keep repeating it. I'm not advising doing that, but that's kind of the theory behind it. I've had questions before as to what tools I use. I use Notion to store all my content ideas once they're like a bit more fleshed out than WhatsApp. I design them in Adobe XD, which is kind of like a slightly better version of Canva. I get images, high quality images from a site called FreePick, which is like £9 a month. I do use Canva occasionally. ChatGPT for frameworks occasionally. I record on ScreenFlow, which is an app for Mac, screen recording app, very high quality. I've got a DJI Osmo Pocket 3 camera, and I also use WhatsApp, as I mentioned. There are also 3 resources that I have as well in order to do this. So I have a content planner, and that's specific to LinkedIn. I also have 2 other things. One is an Instagram story bank, so it's a load of assets that I just rotate week in, week out to get people to book calls with us on Instagram. And I also, and I think this could be a takeaway for everyone as well if you're going to take LinkedIn seriously and start ramping it up, is Go to your friends that you spend the most time with, go to your partners, perhaps your kids, parents, whatever it is, and ask them for all the pictures that they've got of you. And then put them all in a Google Drive. Because you can post, that's why when LinkedIn just becomes so easy, you can literally just get a nice picture of yourself that you're half happy with, smiling in, and then write about whatever you want to write. So just having all this stuff prepped and ready is really, really helpful. That photo bank means I don't need to even think about some of the content that goes out. I can just say to my VA, post that content, post that picture, or post that content and find the alternative, whatever it is. So just as a recap, okay, the 3 objectives. And these are just a couple of examples of posts that I will use for each. If we're trying to capture new attention, we could post tips and tricks, or tutorials, or hacks, or use some viral frameworks that we've seen other creators use. If we want to build trust with people, strongly suggest leaning into successes and failures throughout your journey. Using that personal content as much as you can or are willing to share. You know, some people don't put their kids' faces online, for example, or they won't talk about certain topics, and that's absolutely fine. I wouldn't push it any further than you're comfortable with. And then sharing your business journey as well. But when I say the journey, I don't just mean the successes, because that's what everyone's doing. When you can start to be vulnerable and you can showcase some of the lows or the troughs in your business, that's when people are going to identify with you even further. And then finally, the conversion style content, as I say, probably only once a week. If you start doing any more than that, you're going to see like lower traction in terms of your numbers of engagement and impressions and stuff. Client results. Make a big deal when you get one of your clients a result, or when they send you a text message, screenshot straight away. Everything just goes into this content bank. Okay. You could also do a video breakdown. Just don't even need anything from the client. You can say, here's how I help my client achieve X, Y, Z in 90 days, and how you can do the same following our ABC framework, or something like that. Campaign cycles. So running campaigns, everyone will have run marketing campaigns. You can do it through your personal brand too. We're going to have a price rise in September. We're going to have countdowns. We're going to make sure we're sharing loads of results. Also, just like pushing people towards a certain CTA, which would be book a call or DM. And then breaking your process down, as I mentioned. Like, that's going to make you slightly different from everyone else out there. Yes, everyone will offer the same result, but what's the process? Hop on a video, type it out on a Google Doc. Pay an editor to edit it for you, or just keep it low level. So capture, trust, convert. Every single post that you put out, should have one of those objectives in mind.
Thank you very much.